Somehow I've fallen into the ocean of repeated birth and death. Please pick me up and place me as an atom that you notice feet. Somehow I've fallen into the ocean of repeated birth and death. Please pick me up and place me as an atom like your lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari 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 Bo. Son of Nanda, although I'm your eternal servant, somehow or other, into this ocean, working that, please pick me up and place me. That's the meaning of the mahamantra. Not okay. Introduce me in Hindi so I don't have to listen.
Some sannyasis was telling me the most difficult part For them, he's introducing them in front of everybody. But for our
It gets
purification,
crowded, right? So-
for also for the new devotees, let's do a big round of applause, Mahatma Prabhu. Nothing new to this community. However, there are some new devotees here. Is anybody first time experience? Besides me? So that, welcome.
Navayovanam.
What is his name? Thank you very much. Welcome to the community.
Hare Krishna.
So today we have special guest Mahatma Prabhu. He's direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And then he is initiated, got introduced to this call in 1969. He got first and second initiation together in 1970. Ever since he was Sankirtan leader, distribution leader, Brahmacharya action leader, and temple president, and then traveled around the world. He did many services. And then specifically, he designed courses and organized very well, presented especially Japa retreats, and then different seminars. He had done in the past also for men and women. So he's very famous for that. He also does online. He inspired so many people, both devotees as well as non-devotees. He has one website. Its name is sattvaday.com.
It's changed. Just go to mahatmadas.com. That was supposed to be changed. I think there's old biographies that are on there.
And then now he's also initiating spiritual masters since 2013. We have a disciple here, Grace Mahatma. She's one actually instrumental.
It's all her fault that I'm here. If you don't like my lecture, you can blame her.
Thank you, Mataji, for inspiring all of us to bring Prabhu here.
Oh.
So, one more time, let's give a big round of applause to Prabhu. We posted the next 3 days schedule. So, if you not please see me or the Prabhu, he's doing the seminars in every day for next 3 days in Chanting work
On Japa.
in Japa.
So if you chant Japa, it would be good if you can come. It would help you a lot.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At least that's what people tell me who come. Some even say it totally changed the way they chanted Japa. Some even say it was the first time I ever actually chanted Japa, even though I've been chanting for 10 years. So,
if I don't say this, it's incomplete. And many people, devotees knows about him. The one thing is go in the multiplication prayers. The Prabhu, he's famous in his con. When he sings, he takes us to Gula Vrindavan. The way he sings. Maybe before he leaves, he can do one session.
Maybe, yeah.
Go in the multiplication prayers. Amazing.
I'll do it at the Japa workshop. So, you have to come to here.
The tune he sings is so nice.
Govinda Maripusham Tamoham Bhajam. Yeah, so what should we talk about? Is there a topic you have in mind?
There was no topics to give, whatever you want to share.
It's ever on my mind? Whoa. That could be dangerous. What do you want me to talk about? Anybody have a suggestion or a question that can lead into a discussion? Yes?
If no one has, talk about holy name.
Mm-hmm. Mm. The holy name. Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's why I thought it's a prelude.
Oh, marketing. Mm. Mm. Well, this song I sang was from the Shikshashtakam, verse 5. O son of Nanda, although I am your eternal servant, somehow I've fallen into this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as an atom at your lotus feet. So there's a paradox in the verse, which is, I'll flip it around and say, I am constitutionally your servant, and now I've fallen into this position where I'm denying that. And as a result of denying that, I'm in the ocean of birth and death. And I want to get out of this ocean, but I can't get out of this ocean on my own because I don't have the strength. So I'm praying to you to pick me out of this ocean, the world of Maya, Mama Maya Dharati, Krishna says in the Gita. If we try to conquer birth and death, if we try to love Krishna without kripa, without mercy, it's impossible. We can't do it. And the proof of that is the body we have. That's proof that we can't do it. If we could have done it on our own, we would have been out of here a long time ago. Right? It's like you can get out of jail by behaving properly, but if you try to get out other ways, you can't really do it, and usually you get caught if you do. Something like that. So the paradox is, Mahaprabhu is saying, I'm your eternal servant, but somehow or other, I'm not buying into that. I'm not doing it. It's like I'm not satisfied with that idea of being your servant. But I know I'm your servant. And so when you learn Krishna consciousness, you learn things that are right, that go against everything you've ever done in the material world. It's like you should be humble. Yeah, I know. That goes against everything I've ever done since beginning of time. And you should be this and you should be that. And everything is going against everything our conditioning, right? And so then we're caught in this paradox where the conditioning is going left and the Shastra is telling us to go right. And so the head is like saying, go right, and the heart is saying, go left. So this verse is kind of like an acknowledgement of that, in a sense. I'm your eternal servant, but I've fallen into the ocean of birth and death, which means I've fallen in because I had not admitted. At least I'm not, maybe I admit it, but I'm not acting as it. So the prayer is, pick me up out of the ocean, I can't get out, and place me as an atom at your lotus feet. And we can say placing as an atom at your lotus feet is synonymous to saying, please help me realize I'm a servant, because I don't realize it. And you might be saying, no, I realize I'm a servant. No, you should say, I understand I'm a servant. That's different from realizing it, right? So the difference between understanding and realizing is the head-heart conundrum, duality. Like, are there things you understand? I shouldn't eat this, it's not good for me. And then what do you eat? You eat it. So your head understood it, and your heart, or in this case your tongue, but I'll just use the analogy of heart, because the heart is feeling. I know I shouldn't eat this, but I feel like eating it because it's my favorite food. Isn't it? And unfortunately, usually our favorite foods are the ones we shouldn't eat. It's like Maya's going, nah. You like that, yeah, and it's going to get you sick. It's like, what kind of world is this? So we're caught in. It's like breaking a habit, and I can guarantee you, if you have a habit, let's say you've learned the mridanga the wrong way, and you say, "Can you teach me the mridanga?" And I say, "Well, it's not like it's like I need a mridanga to demonstrate." You're going to get a mridanga lesson as a side benefit of this class. So you might play the mridanga like this. And you've been playing that way for 400 lifetimes. And I say, no, it's not like that, it's like this. And you say, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what you're doing. And I say, no, it's not like this. It's like that. You have to slap it. And it's not this, it's not. It's makes you want to dance, right? And I go, can you do that? You say, yeah. And then I say, so do what I did. And you say, okay. And you go, play exactly the way you've always played. I said, not like that. Oh, you're supposed to hit it like this. Okay. And you go like that, and you try it again. And you go, and you still don't hit it right. Isn't it? That's how habits work. You know, you ever try to teach somebody that has a habit, and you're going over and over again, and you know you're doing it wrong, and you can't stop because you've done it that way for so long. So that's why when I say, we have to say, I understand I'm a servant, but I don't realize it. Yeah, I understand I'm supposed to play it that way, but it's just in my body, it plays it another way. So we understand. So we understand we're servants, but look at your life and analyze how much am I, if I look at my activities, how many of my activities correspond with me being a servant and how many don't, and you'll find a lot. You know, you're out doing something and you all of a sudden you stop and think, if I realized I was a servant, would I even be doing this? Your face turns red and you realize, no, I wouldn't do that. And you can, every time you think, oh, that's really nice, I'd like that. You just forgot you were a servant and you went into master mode. Master mode. You ever go into master mode? I want that. I want to move that. I want to get that. I want to control that. That's master mode. That's not service mode. Servant mode. Unless you're doing it in service, then but if it's just for me, I would like that for me, that's master mode. So although we understand we're servants, we go into master mode, enjoyer mode. Prabhu, you want to go do this? There's got some really good pizza down here at this place. It's all vegetarian. Yeah, let's go. We're in enjoyer mode now. And we both understand we're eternal servants of Krishna, but now we're in master and enjoyer mode, or controller mode, or all three. So that's why I say we don't realize it, we just understand it. And so this verse, we can look at this verse in the same way. I understand that I'm servant, but if I understood I'm servant, I wouldn't be offering this prayer because I wouldn't have a body and I wouldn't be here, right? So please place me as an atom at your lotus feet, as I said, could be seen as, please help me realize I'm a servant. So this is interesting. These are previews about Japa. Of course, I could teach Japa for 20 hours and not even get to the main meal. That's just appetizer. So there's a lot to say. But have you ever thought, when you're chanting, that the prayer means, Krishna, please engage me in your service? And you're thinking, I have too much service already. So I'm not going to chant too sincerely because I'm already having a nervous breakdown trying to keep up with what I have. And it's totally taking it literally, which it doesn't exactly mean that, right? Prabhu, did you chant your rounds today? Nope. Too much service today. I didn't chant my rounds. Just trying to, if Krishna gives me more service, I will explode. No, it's not like that. It's, I want the mentality of a servant. I don't want the enjoyer, master, controller mentality. I want servant mentality. And I want not only a servant mentality, but pure servant mentality. I want to engage in pure devotional service, because if it's just quantity of service, then why would I'm not going to chant for the next 2 weeks till I get all my service done. And that, of course, we wouldn't do. And so, Krishna, can you help me realize I'm a servant? Hare Krishna. I think I'm master, controller, enjoyer. Right? That's what I think. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you help me realize I'm a servant? Because I really don't. I mean, I know I'm a servant, but I don't like being a servant all the time. Sometimes Sundays at the temple, it's okay. I'll serve prasadam, clean the temple. But the rest of the week, being a servant, it doesn't sound fun at all. I like master, controller, enjoyer. That's better. So we're praying, Hare Krishna, please help me develop the mentality of a servant and not just understand it, but realize it and feel it and want it. So that's a lot of what's going on in this prayer. Place me as an atom at your lotus feet. If I'm an atom at your lotus feet, that means I realize 24/7, 365 days a year, I'm serving. And so, if you think about that verse, that's like the theme song or one of the theme songs for the mahamantra. Hare Krishna, please help me. I'm helpless. Get me out of this mess. Please, and I'm in this mess because I think I'm master or controller or enjoyer or all three, and help me realize I'm just a little small servant. Do you know that when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left the world, one of his last instructions, he said, our goal is to be a particle of dust at the feet of Rupa and Raghunath Goswami. I think he said Rupa Raghunath or Rupa Goswami. So you imagine somebody just comes off the street, an American, and they said, well, what's your philosophy? Our philosophy is to become a particle of dust at the feet of God. You'd be like, get me out of here. You'd see that, make a little video, funny video. Welcome to the temple. What's your philosophy? Become a particle of dust. And you see them running down the street. Ah! Isn't it? And this is the aspiration of the devotee, to be a servant, but not only a servant, insignificant. Well, I have some bad news for you. I hope you're, going to take this well. But there's no way to be anything other than an insignificant servant, because there's too many living entities in creation for us to be significant. So by mathematical calculation, we are insignificant, and there's nothing we can do about it. So if we have the bhav that I'm not insignificant, it's a bad mathematical calculation. The other mathematical calculation is the size of the soul. It gives an example. It's not exact. 1/10, if you take a hair and divide it 10,000 times, that's the cell of the soul. It's really subatomic. So how could you can't divide the soul, and you can't really see it in your atomic microscope. But just to give an idea. So by nature, the soul is insignificant. It's 1/10,000th the size of a hair. But I have some good news also. Now that you're depressed, that you're not significant, I learned I wasn't significant. I'm never going back to this temple again. That was totally depressing. But I have some good news for you. When you go back to Godhead, the soul grows into a spiritual body. And if you have trouble with this, I'm not the body, because you're rich, beautiful, and intelligent, and you don't want to not be all those things. You like being the body. If you have any problem with that, go back to Godhead, because when you go back to Godhead, you are the body. You get a spiritual body, and you are that body. So there's no Bhagavad Gita, you're not the body in the spiritual world. That's only down here, because down here we have a body, and we're not the body. Up there, the soul grows into your spiritual form. That's good news, right? But while you're down here, we're still insignificant up there. But when you become Krishna conscious, you actually feel insignificant, and it feels good. It's like you don't want to feel proud and big and arrogant, and that doesn't feel good. So, but when you're not Krishna conscious, to hear I'm an insignificant servant, it's kind of depressing, isn't it? Wow. Don't you have anything better to tell me than I'm an insignificant servant? Sorry, it's like, you want to be a significant servant? Oh, okay, you can become guru. You want to become guru? Then you can be a significant servant and show off. No, that's not good. But the realization of the devotee is in feeling their insignificance. It's not some psychological problem. Oh, I'm so low, I'm so bad. Call in the therapist, help this devotee. No, it's a manifestation of deep realization and great happiness and ecstasy to be just I'm just a small, egoless particle of dust at Krishna's lotus feet. Would you like to be at Krishna's lotus feet 24/7? That's what it's all about, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be at Krishna's lotus feet, you have to feel like a particle of dust. Otherwise, you're going to remain floating around, not at his feet, but somewhere out there in the material world. So you can think you're, God's gift to the universe. You're the greatest thing that ever happened. And so you can float around birth and death. But if you want to be with Krishna and Krishna conscious, you have to be a little particle. That's just how it works. So humility, when we're humble, then we're with Krishna. That you couldn't get any closer to Krishna than humility. How far is humility from Krishna? It's right at his feet. How far is pride from Krishna? You couldn't get any further from Krishna than pride. So we think pride makes me feel good. You know, I'm proud, self-confidence, I'm good, I'm great. Yeah, but now you're light years away from Krishna, because your pride means you're competing with him. Humility means you're serving him. It's simple, right? Like, how can you be happy competing with Krishna? So that verse it's a prayer for humility, even though it's not directly, the word is not used, but obviously being a particle at the feet is a humble position, and it's ultimately a prayer, I just want to be a servant. So I think this is an important understanding of the mahamantra, that every day when you're chanting, you're actually praying to Krishna, help me realize I'm servant. Because I have trouble realizing I'm servant, because I really like thinking I'm great, you know, I'm special, I'm intelligent, I'm talented, I'm whatever. And Krishna, it's like, that's fine, you can think like that, but it has to be in the context of insignificant servant. That I've given that all to you, and if I didn't give that to you, you wouldn't have that. And that's all meant for my service. That's it. That's what the mahamantra means. In case you didn't know, now you know. You mean I've been chanting for 50 years and I didn't know that? Could be. Possible. But that's, I mean, not the only thing it means, but that's essentially what it means, that I'm a servant. And the Prabhupada said, you know, you have spiritual energy and you have material energy. Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, internal energy, external energy. So we're all bouncing around with the external energy pushing us around like a basketball or a football, just being kicked around. Or like a pair of socks in a washing machine. We're just getting pushed around, right? And so when we're praying to Krishna, please engage me in your service, we're also saying, please let me be under the shelter of your spiritual energy, internal energy. Because that energy is where I get all my desire and impetus to serve you. That's where I feel my position as your servant. And please protect me from Maya, because I have bad habits. My habits are inclinations to be master, controller, and enjoyer. And so that's also what it means. Put me under the shelter of that energy, which keeps me in the realization that I'm your servant and the inspiration to do that. And that's what happens in the spiritual, with the spiritual energy. So it's almost like a prayer, like when you're in Vrindavan or Mayapur, totally under Radharani's protection, Mahaprabhu Nityananda's protection, you feel that. So it's like, Krishna, just can you like cover me in the spiritual energy, so I just want to serve you. It's like that. Like the same feeling you'll get in Vrindavan. It's like a prayer. Can you let Vrindavan descend on me while I chant Japa? Something like that. So, as I was meditating on this verse many, many months ago, you know, meditating on, and I thought, wow, what a perfect verse for Japa. You know, I'm helpless. I need help. Due to my own ego, I'm drowning in the ocean of birth and death. If you don't pick me up, I'm like, you know, drowning in the ocean, like just in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. What ocean? We're close to the Atlantic, yeah. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic, well, not that close, but closer than the Pacific. So I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, or there's some big lake somewhere up north of here. Right? Lake Erie. I'm drowning in the middle of Lake Erie, and I don't even know how to swim. And the boat or a helicopter doesn't come, that's it. So, you know, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I'm drowning in the ocean of material world. I'm not able to get out of here, never have been. And if you don't pick me up, send me a rope or a boat or something, I'll never get out. Then you have another scenario. This is, we could make a little video out of this if you like making videos. Krishna, help me. And Prabhupada gave this example. He didn't give the helicopter example, but he gave the example, you fall in a well and they throw you the rope and you're like, can you like help me put my hand on the rope? You know, so that's like mercy, you know. The The rope is mercy. I fall into the well. Without mercy, I cannot get out of the well. We throw the rope for you, and you're like, could you help, like put my hand on the rope? It's like kind of, it's like, it's not like that. Like the mercy, devotees say, oh, Prabhu, give me your mercy. I'm like, take the mercy you already have, I'm on mercy vacation this week. You have enough mercy. Take the mercy you have, Grab the rope. We'll talk, after you grab the rope, get out of the well, we'll talk about mercy. So a lot of times when we're saying, give me mercy, it's like, how many books have you read in your house? Not all of them. It's a lot of mercy waiting for you. Go read them. Come back and ask for mercy after you read them. Isn't it? So, I'm falling in the ocean. Please pick me up. Okay, here's the rope. You mean I have to hold on to it? Yeah, well, this is not Christianity. You actually have to do something. We're not like, it's not by works are you saved. Yeah, you have to, as paradoxical as it sounds, you've got to work for the mercy, and when you get it, you got to do something with it. Oh, really? Oh, that sounds difficult. Yeah. Well, it's more difficult to stay in the material world, believe me, than do the little work you have to do to get the mercy. Hare Krishna. That's my meditation on that verse. And think about it, when you're chanting kirtan or japa, think about that verse, because it just really embodies the mood, the flavor, like just imagine yourself in the ocean drowning and you can't get out. Hare Krishna, because that's exactly what it's like, isn't it? Yes? Okay, so that was appetizer. You want more? You have to come tomorrow night, Tuesday night and Wednesday night to get more. If you like that appetizer, it's a good restaurant, right? After all, I have a nickname, Japa Man. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Japa Man. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yeah. So I had the fortune of being able to teach about japa for almost 20 years, and Krishna's so kind. It just gives me realizations, more and more realizations, and I love to share those realizations. So I'm happy to share them with you. I think I can help you, get some insights that can just like very easily change the quality of your japa. And there was an ad once, I don't know where I saw it. It's about water, purifying your water. Change your water, change your life. I was like, no, that's not the ad. Change your japa, change your life. Good water may change your life also, but not in the way japa can. Change your japa, change your life, because if your japa gets better, your spiritual life has to get better. If your japa is not better, your spiritual life is not going to get better, because japa is the fundamental foundation of it all. So you can have all kinds of good everything else, but you'll be missing something. Like your doctor's like, you're low on vitamin D. Well, that's why I feel tired, but I exercise and I take vitamin B and I eat my spinach. Yeah, but you're low on D. Whatever. It's not, you're not assimilating, or you're low on vitamin K2. You ever heard of vitamin K2? Yeah, there is a vitamin, but there's a real vitamin K2. K, not like K2, that planet. Yeah. You're not taking this vitamin, and therefore you're not assimilating all the other vitamins you're taking. It's like that, You need the holy name to understand the Bhagavatam and to really be in the mood of seva. So if your japa improves, your Krishna consciousness improves. If your japa stays the same, your Krishna consciousness tends to stay the same. If your japa gets worse, your Krishna consciousness tends to get worse. And so, if you're ever wondering why you're having any difficulty in spiritual life, it's time to have a talk with your bead bag. You ever talk to your bead bag? Bead bag, can you tell me why I'm having difficulty? Oh yeah, that's easy, I know why. Well, tell me why. Because when you chant Hare Krishna, you think of everything other than Krishna. Really, I do? Yeah. What were you thinking about when you were chanting japa? I was thinking about prasadam. I was thinking about that. Devotee I don't like. I was thinking about what I'm going to cook for the deities tonight. He said, yeah, that's what I mean. You chant japa, but you don't think of me. You don't think of Krishna. So what do you expect? Oh, okay, let me think about that. Bad japa, bad spiritual life. Good japa, good spiritual life. If you don't believe me, you go, that's a bunch of nonsense. Okay. If you don't believe me, try to chant some good japa and do an experiment. Chant some good japa. Chant some good japa next week and see if what I said is all nonsense or if it's actually true. And if it's not true, then write me a letter and say, it's not true. I chanted excellent japa and I'm still in line. But I think that's impossible. It just doesn't work that way. Yes? Okay. So, yeah, what time do we go till?
12:30, including the question answers.
Okay, so why don't you ask some questions? Because we have 17 minutes. Yes?
Krishna, I have a question. I hear your Japa retreat class on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So, Japa time thinking of Krishna. So, how far is it? It's okay to think of devotees, Maharajas, or something, Bhagavatam thing, what we read, like, or I just have to think of Krishna's lotus feet.
Well, those are all good things to think of, but if Krishna came to your house and had a conversation with you, and while you're talking to him and you're talking, you probably wouldn't say, is it okay while we're having this conversation if I think of some devotees in the Bhagavatam and your pastimes? You'd probably just be present to him, don't you think? Or let's ask another question. Yeah, it's okay, but it depends on your mood. Yeah, that's the right answer. It depends on your mood while you're chanting, because chanting is a mood. So like you go, okay, let's use another example. You go to the deities and you're praying, my dear Natbara, I've fallen. Radha Natbara, I've fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean. Place me as an adult. Help me, realize I'm a servant. Please help me, give me strength. You're praying like that, right? So then, whatever enthuses that prayer, I would say that's just your thinking should be in alignment with the mood of your chanting. And my fear is that sometimes that thinking is actually done because we're not in the mood, or that thinking is done because we can't get in the mood. So it's like alternative. Well, at least I'm thinking of the devotees. You can extend that, well, why not just watch a Krishna cartoon while you chant? Because at least I'm thinking of the Leela, it's like, how far do you take it?
Think of Krishna's lotus feet and Krishna's form. Whatever Krishna must have lotus feet, think and chant.
Don't worry about the thinking so much. Worry about the mood.
Yeah.
If you're in the mood, if you're praying to the deity, my dear Krishna, please help me. Aren't you thinking of Krishna? Naturally. Of course, because that's the object of your prayer. Right? So you don't have to worry about thinking of Krishna because that's who you're praying to. But if you're just chanting without any mood at all, then you're like, oh, I have to think of Krishna because I have no mood. That's bringing Krishna in. So that's not the way to do it. It should be more natural. It shouldn't be artificial. I'm chanting, okay, I'm thinking of devotees, I'm thinking of shlokas, but it's not exactly the mood. It's okay. The mood is, I'm thinking of Krishna in devotion, I'm praying. It's like if you're on the deity offering artik and you're offering different articles, what are you thinking about? Or what should you be thinking about? Krishna, please accept this. I'm offering this. Right? Isn't that kind of the mood? Prabhupada said chanting is the same mood. Krishna, please, I'm offering you my heart through the mahamantra. Please accept it. That's the mood. So once you're in that mood, then whatever else you think will be perfect. But if you're not in that mood, and those other things are what do they call it? Placeholders for bad japa? Could be a placeholder for bad japa. Well, I can't control my mind, but at least I can think of this devotee while I chant, so I'm not thinking about shopping or anything. So that's better. But it's not the actual mood. You want to connect with the mood. And so Prabhupada said, you can think of japa like deity worship, because Krishna is his name, and I'm offering Krishna my love, and Hare Krishna, like that. So everything that I was talking about today, that's not the only mood, but that's a mood of japa. So housed within that mood, then whatever else you're thinking will just enthuse that mood. It wouldn't distract you from it. So what you're thinking, is it helping that mood of Krishna, please let me be your pure devotee? Or is it a placeholder because I don't feel it and I can't really control my mind? I'm not saying it is, but that's what we have to ask ourselves. Does that make sense?
Could I focus more in hearing than thinking? Because hearing is the first thing.
Hearing is?
Hearing is the first thing. Could I focus more on that more than thinking of anything?
Thinking is not necessary. Pure thinking is just, I mean, you've heard the concept of mindfulness, being present. So when Prabhupada says here, what he means is be present, because if you're chanting something, you're saying something, you don't hear it, that means your mind is somewhere else, you're distracted. So by saying here, it's like, don't be distracted. So Krishna, Hare Krishna, I am conscious of Krishna, he's there, I'm hearing, but I'm also praying. So I'm praying to the Krishna that I'm hearing. If I'm just hearing and not praying, I'm half there. Because Prabhupada said, hear yourself chanting sincerely. So there's two. The hearing is one part of it, and the sincerity is the mood. So they need to go together. And most devotees, they say, well, the process is to hear, but they don't put the sincerity part in it. So you're getting half. And I have found that if you get the sincerity part is I'm calling out to Krishna. So I become conscious of Krishna because that's the direction of my prayer. So I'm hearing the Krishna I'm hearing is the person I'm praying to. So they go together. And if there is any thinking at that point, it's just supporting the mood. But I was saying in Cincinnati, something I've experienced, and I think all of us have experienced. Controlling the mind takes a lot of energy. Have you noticed? Because the nature of the mind is it's used to multitasking and being everywhere, every second somewhere else. So sometimes we have experience, the devotees, I'm just trying to hear the mantra and bring my, we have this, Krishna says in the Gita, wherever your mind wanders, bring it back. But we also know that wherever we're attached to is where the mind goes. So if you're attached to something, you don't have to bring it back because you're fixed on it. And wherever there's love and at least attraction, that's where the mind goes. So I'm trying to chant, but I'm not really attracted, and I'm trying to bring it back. It's a lot of work and it takes a lot of energy. And many of us, after chanting a while, are exhausted. Just like, I can't do this. And then we just schnick, mom our way for the rest of our rounds because we're exhausted trying to control the mind. Have you experienced that before? So in thinking about that, I think, wouldn't it be better to put your energy into praying than trying to control your mind? Because if you put the energy into praying, it's beautiful, it's relishable, and then automatically your mind just follows your heart, your mood. And then so you're putting all that energy instead of into controlling your mind, which is now controlled because you're putting your energy into prayer, which energizes you. It doesn't take away from it. And you're starting to feel Krishna's presence. We say, hear the mantra, be present to Krishna. What about feeling Krishna's presence? What about that? Why do we say just hear? Oh, hear, but don't feel? Feel Krishna's presence. How do you feel it? Well, you have to hear it to feel it, but feeling is even deeper. And that feeling is like, wow, I'm with Krishna, Hare Krishna, this is relishable, sweet. And I don't have to put all that energy into trying to control the mind that I can't control. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think in Jaiva Dharma, posed the question, how do you control the mind? He said, you can't. You can't. But by the mercy of the holy name, everything, the heart comes in. And the love comes, the affection, the prayer, and automatically you find your mind just kind of, just follows your heart or just shuts off kind of. You know, we all know, during good japa, where's our mind? It's in the off position, or it's supporting whatever mood we're in, right? So, why not just turn it off before you start, then wait for it to turn off? Because anyway, I'll think, I have to control my mind. And the Prabhupada said, to that question, Prabhupada said, you don't need your mind to chant. And really what he meant is you need your heart. That's what you need, not your mind. So what I would say, rather than trying to control your mind, control your heart. Where's your heart right now? Are you praying? Or are you just waiting for your rounds to get done so you can go have breakfast? Or get ready for work? Where is your heart? Right? Yes? Where's your heart? Ask yourself that question when you're chanting. Where's your heart? Where's my heart right now? For a lot of the men here, maybe some of the women, their answer is, my heart is in my office. I'm thinking about all the things I have to do today. Yes? You ever done that? Chanting japa, looks like you're looking at the deities and seeing them and chanting, but you're actually doing your office work. So I therefore say something bold. I say, you're not actually chanting. It just looks like it. You're not actually chanting. And what's the proof of that? When you finish chanting that way, you feel no different than when you began chanting, because you spent the whole time in the office. So you just feel normal. And now you're chanting that way, and you're trying to control your mind, and your mind's in the office. Pull it out of the office. It's like, why waste your time? Why not just get in the mood? Get your heart into it, and your mind will follow your heart. Krishna, I'm following this ocean, please help me. That's what I'm supposed to be praying for. Why would I be, thinking about my office work when I'm chanting japa, just like neutralizing the effects? Then I can't get in the mood. It's like, your husband's busy, you want to talk, and you're trying to talk, and he's got work to do, and you're like, okay, let's talk later, you're too busy. This is not working. So it's like, you're like, why would I want to talk to you now? You got so many things on your mind. You can't listen to what I'm saying. So you recognize that. So like, why would I want to chant with a million things on my mind? It doesn't make any sense. It's like I'm wasting time. Are you saying chanting is a waste of time? I am saying that you may not actually be chanting. You just looks like you are. And that's something to think about. That's a heavy statement, I know. But I can back it up with quotation after quotation. It looks like chanting, but it's not. And so you want to make sure if you're chanting, you're actually chanting. You don't want to make it look like chanting and not get the benefits. And it's like your doctor gives you two medicines. One is for your scar and one is for your infection. And you put the one for the scar on the infection and vice versa. And the one for the infection on the scar, and it doesn't get better. So every day I do this. And it's just, what medicine are you putting on what? Oh, you did backwards. But I did it every day for 2 weeks. Yeah. So what? It's the wrong medicine. You did it wrong. Hare Krishna. Is that okay? I'm pretty passionate about this, and I'll tell you why. Because in my own journey with japa, the experiences I have with good japa and bad japa are day and night. And I can certify from experience, bad japa is almost as bad as no japa. And in some cases it's worse because it's implementing bad japa habits which are harder to overcome. Of course we wouldn't say don't chant, but yes.
Thanks Prabhu for such a wonderful recommendation to improving our japa. My question is that actually I want to know about your practice on this. So what you suggested is very nice. It sounds very nice when we do it for the first 10 mahamantra of the first round. but then how do you keep yourself in that mood at the end of the first round, at the end of the 13th round, at the end of the 15th round?
Yeah, so the first thing, how do you keep yourself in the mood? The first thing is don't start chanting till you're in the mood. So whatever you want to create in your japa, there's so many moods. Whatever you want to create. We could use this as one of the moods. You want to go into the emotion of that, so you feel it. And maybe this mood you don't feel. So it's like, I don't feel this mood, but I just feel like I don't really want to be an insignificant servant. I don't know if I want to be, but I don't feel it, but I feel this helplessness. Okay, just go into the help. I'm helpless. And this japa, I'm just going to pray to Krishna. And how can I keep that mood? Well, let me get specific about what I'm helpless. In what areas I'm helpless, because you want to feel it. So yeah, I'm really helpless with controlling my anger, and it's really a problem for me, and it's rooting everything in my life. So you feel that deeply. So if you feel it deeply and you chant, Krishna, help me overcome this, that mood is going to stay because it's real for you. You don't have to like create it. It's just a reality. Maybe remind yourself. So get into that, feel it, and then if you're feeling it while you're chanting, it shouldn't disappear because that's what you're chanting for. Number one. And you'll say, yeah, but that makes sense, but it's probably going to disappear. Maybe not after 10 beads, maybe after 8 rounds. Yeah, but the fact you got 8 rounds is you've started a new samskara where it's like it's easier now. I've done it. So tomorrow it's going to be easier. Tomorrow, the more you practice, it's going to be easier. And if you're losing it, just stop and go, I lost it. I'm in my office now. My mind just drifted off. Okay, let's go back into the mood. Let's feel it. Start over again. Connect with it. And then sometimes you'll start to experience it. You'll just stay there. You'll be connected. You'll be like, oh my God, this is how I feel. And I would suggest to all of you that whatever mood you want to connect with, it should be something that's real for you because you're already connected to it. So let's say you had some deep realization about false ego, and you realize that like this idea of being an insignificant servant scares me to death, and I know this is a problem, and so this is so real for me to pray to overcome that. It's easier to stay in that mode because you live in that mode anyway. It's like, maybe it's subconscious, but it's there all the time. So, I fall into the ocean of material existence, I'm suffering. That's like daily, every second realization, isn't it? Every experience of the body and the mind and nature and life in the world. It's either too hot or too cold. People are nice or critical. It's like duality. We're getting beat up all the time. So Krishna, I'm suffering in this world. Get me out of here. It's like, that's real. So the more real it is, then you're like, how can you lose the mood if it's real? Okay, you could because your mind goes off. But it's really easy to come back because that's your sthayi bhava, so to speak. You're in that mood. So it's real for you. So the more the mood is real, the more deeply you'll go into japa because it's so easy and so natural. Does that make sense?
Yes, because but to counter that, I had a couple of things. One is like meditating on the problems that I have that I want to solve with the help of Krishna. But then I don't have that 365 problems that I have, but I'm not aware of.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And
okay. Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking of.
Well, let me get to that one first. Pretty much, I can guarantee that really deep problem that you have, that you're chanting today to overcome, you'll have it tomorrow and next week, and you'll start to realize, actually, now I understand what Mahaprabhu meant by chanting 24 hours a day and being humble, because I am so helpless in overcoming this problem. I really need to chant all the time. It's like, this is not going to go away easily. So you can have that feeling. Like this is, I need false ego. Okay, Krishna, I just want to be a servant. That's a prayer to overcome false ego. Like, You can overcome false ego in 8 rounds? Well, it's gone. What do I pray for now? I don't know. Just think about my office again. No, it's like, if you start doing that, you realize when you get to 16, it's like, I have to keep asking. This problem is huge. And so it's like an opportunity every morning. Say, I can pray to Krishna to help me overcome this problem. The other thing I want to say before you ask further is that it's not a thinking, I guess you can't ask further. It's not a thinking, it's a feeling. So it's not an analytical process. This is my problem, I put it on a chart and I shoot mantras at it. And so this is how I feel. If you have a problem, then I would suggest allow yourself to feel the pain of what it's carrying that problem is, whatever that problem is, false ego, greed, lust, anger, envy, feel it. And then when you chant, you can have a lot of feelings like, Krishna, this is painful. Please help me. Hare Krishna. I don't want this. And the ramifications of that problem and how it's playing out in your life. It's like, this is hell. Krishna, please help me. When you finish your 16 rounds, you feel like, I wish I could just sit here all day and pray because I really need help. And then every morning when you're chanting japa, you're like, wow, this is beautiful because I get to go back and pray for this thing. And it's helping. I can see it's helping me. And so you look forward to japa rather than, oh no, I have to chant again. Like, why would you want to chant japa if you hate your job and you're at your job during japa? Then it's like, I hate japa. No, you don't. You hate your job and you're thinking of your job during japa. So therefore you equate the two and now I hate japa. That's sad, isn't it? Or even you like your job, but you don't like it that much. Okay, your next question. What should we do?
Last question.
Okay.
Yeah, so follow-up for that was that it's very easy for us, especially me, to make things mechanical. Even japa becomes so mechanical. So how do I make sure that my prayerful moon doesn't become mechanical and also artificial?
It's very easy because you have to look at, well, you have to if you want to not make it mechanical. You have to look at japa as a relationship, not a process. Because relationships are not mechanical, they don't work. Relationships work when you're real and you're emotional. So mechanical japa means we have to divorce the holy name from Krishna. And instead of Krishna, it's a process. And the process is to hear the mantra. So I'm chanting and hearing the mantra. I could chant and try the process of hearing the mantra and completely be mechanical. It's possible, right? And I have to get my rounds done. What's the process? Prabhu, chant 16 rounds. How do I do it? Start on the head bead, then do the next mantra on the next bead. No, don't start on the head bead, the first bead, next to the head bead, and then chant the next one. Chant and pronounce it properly and listen. It's mechanical. And so basically you've been inaugurated into a process. You go, oh, okay, that's the process. Yeah, Prabhu, that's the process. So it's not a relationship, it's a process. And I'm dealing with it as a process. So if it's a process, Hare Krishna, it's just a certain number of rounds. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. It's a process. I get the numbers done. If it's a relationship, wait a minute, Krishna's here. We're connecting. This is different. I have to be present. My heart has to be there. I have to show love and affection. That's one of the biggest problems with japa. We are process-oriented. We're ritualistically oriented. We're not relationship-oriented. So we chant Hare Krishna. We're all personalists, and then we start chanting Hare Krishna, and we become impersonalists. Are you connecting with Krishna? No, I'm connecting with the mantra. It's a meditation process. Great, might as well, chant Bhagala Bhugala, meditate on a candle, same thing, just mechanical. Control your mind, calm down. Bhagala Bhugala Bhugala Bhagala. It's calming my mind down. I'm looking at a candle, it's calming my mind down. Right? So have you ever chanted Hare Krishna mantra and you realize I could replace it with anything and have the same experience? If you haven't realized it, I'll realize it for you. Yes. And that's why when you finish chanting, you feel like you didn't chant. Like, because you didn't connect to the person Krishna. You connected to the mantra. Interesting, isn't it? It's not a process, it's a relationship. And as soon as you connect to Krishna in relationship, when you chant, the whole experience completely changes. And then you want to chant because now you're with a person, not a mantra. Who wants to chant a mantra for 2 hours? That's boring. Finally I finished 2 hours, 1,723 mantras or 26, whatever it is. Oh, it's so hard. And so I want to translate that in Krishna, so boring spending 2 hours with you. Do I have to do this every day? I'm joining Gaudiya Math. They only require a half hour with you. There's 2 hours. It's too much. You would never say that, but that's what we're saying to the holy name. But we're saying it to a process, so we don't realize we're saying it to Krishna, but we are. Yes? Yes or yes? Yeah. True or true? Yeah. And so once you get that, then japa becomes like different. It's like, how do I be emotional with japa? Who's there? It's Krishna. Could you come back later? I'm quite busy right now. No. You'd be pretty emotional, I would think, if he came over. Krishna! Honey, Krishna's here. What? Krishna's here. And I chant japa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna's not, how you're Krishna's there and you chant like that? No, Krishna's not there. You're connected with a mantra. You ever see a devotee who realizes Krishna when they're chanting japa? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Why are they like that? Because they realize it's a relation. I'm with Krishna. He's there in his name. There's a relationship. That's what it looks like. You imagine your mother's coming from India. You haven't seen her in 10 years. And when she comes, you're like, hi, Mom. You want to come home now? And everyone look at you and like, what is wrong with this guy? Isn't it? So if you just relate to Krishna as a person, everything makes sense. This all makes sense. Yeah, I would never relate to a person the way I relate to the mantra when I relate it to a process. But when I relate to it as a person, it's just all the, Prabhu, how can I be emotional? Well, just relate to Krishna as a person in the holy name. It's naturally going to be emotional. So when we say, how can I be emotional? That's because we're chanting a mantra. We're in process. Yes? So simple, isn't it? And I can expand on this to every aspect of bhakti where we impersonalize Krishna. We don't treat him as a person. Krishna doesn't care about me. Why would he care about me? I'm a fallen soul. I've done so many sinful things. So Krishna's not a person. He doesn't love his children. He doesn't care about devotees. Like, it's the same thing. We're turning Krishna into like some judge or something that doesn't have feelings. And as soon as you make Krishna a person, everything changes. Krishna misses you. Why would he miss me? It's impossible. He couldn't. Well, that's because you think it's a process. You don't think he's a person. You make him a person, then you realize, wow, you read Bhagavad Gita, and you're like, oh my God, Sarvadharma Parityajya. That verse, Krishna's asking me, inviting me, telling me, I want you to come back. And I've cleared the road out, and I'm missing you, and your house is ready, and I love you, and I want you. That's what you'll see when you read that verse. Otherwise, you'll analyze it philosophically. What does it mean? Give up dharma? Sinful. You'll just take it in your head, and it's all process. Philosophy can be dangerous because it can disconnect from heart, and then you don't understand the feeling behind Krishna's words. You just understand the philosophy, but there's a feeling like, I want you. That's the feeling behind that verse. So we should be reading that verse crying like that blind Brahman is crying, right? We should be reading that verse and crying, Krishna wants me, oh my God, he loves me. Like, it's nice to be loved, isn't it? And nice to be loved by him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's give a big round of applause. I said it's a prelude, introduction for the next 3 days. So if you want to improve the japa and build a relationship with Krishna, the next 3 days, Monday evening, Tuesday evening, Wednesday. Don't miss it.
Registration is
Yeah?
registration information is on
Yeah,
the notice
registration
board.
information is out there. If not, you can see it pretty much. You can
I
raise
give
it.
you 100% ironclad guarantee your Japa will improve.
Yes. Let's try that.
Ali,
Complete confidence.
If you're not registered, please register. This is the most important. I heard Sachin Maharaj said, everyone wants to go back to spiritual world and he's in the feedback.
Beautiful.
So just give it time. Now we move on to the next part of it. Would you like to lead it? Sure. Yeah, we'll put the mats back there.
Ah.